prayer, oh God. Do not ignore my cry. My heart is restless deep within me. Fear has found my name. Terror presses on my breathing. I am not the same. I hear the noise, I feel the weight. The voices rise, the ground still shakes. My soul is trembling in the dark, trying not to break. Evening I lift my voice, for the heart grows louder when the soul is wounded.
A cry unheard becomes a weight carried.
The heart trembles before it breaks.
It's the quiet grief that hollows the bone.
Hear my prayer, oh God. Do not hide yourself from me. I moan, I cry, lift my voice, attend to the weight in me. Evening, morning, noon, I refuse to go silent, for the soul that speaks to Yahweh has not yet been overcome. My heart is sore within me. Fear presses hard on my chest. Terror walks beside me, like a shadow I cannot outrun. Thoughts circle like storms without rest. Sleep forgets my name. Violence echoes in the streets, and peace feels far away. The heart shakes.
Pod before it shatters.
Sorrow carried quietly.
Cuts deeper than a cry.
It was not an enemy who struck me that I could have endured, not a stranger who rose against me that I could have hidden. But you, my companion, my familiar friend, we walked together, shared counsel, entered the house of God as one.
The deepest wound comes from shared bread.
A false friend wounds the soul before the skin. That I had wings like a dove, I would fly far away and rest. I would flee from the noise of men, from the storm that swallows breath. But the elders whisper,
Running eases the feet.
not the soul. Hear my prayer, oh God. Do not hide yourself from me. My heart breaks loud before heaven, because heaven still listens to me. Before your eyes, oh Yahweh, sin fractures the soul, it twists the gift until it devours the giver. Shame teaches me to hide, silence bruises the heart and shuts it alone in the wilderness. Envy poisons the well, it counts another sun while standing blind in my own rain. Fear tightens the chest until trust forgets how to breathe. Self-will builds walls, calling isolation freedom, and surrender weakness.
A man hides not because God leaves, but because the heart turns inward.
The soul finds no shelter while fleeing itself. I choose the road of prayer, not the path of bitterness. For mercy waits at the door when the heart finally bows. Ancient truth.
Peace comes before guidance, stillness before instruction.
The storm remains, but you find me. I cast my burden upon Yahweh, and He will sustain me. I hurl the weight from my shoulders. These hands were never meant to carry this. No matter how hidden, no matter how weary, grace will surface me. Mercy will reveal me.
God's help is nearer than the door.
I no longer hide among shadows. I quiet my heart before you. Let your guidance lead me. Let your eye rest upon me. The restored soul walks lighter.
Peace is not found, it is returned to. In all things, you are working, even here.
I am turning back to Yahweh, the quiet place where I hear His voice again. I am still here. The cry has not vanished. It has only learned to breathe. My heart still carries echoes, footsteps where trust once stood. What shattered did not disappear, it settled in my blood. I wake with questions on my tongue, sleep leaves me halfway whole. The wound remembers everything my lips refuse to hold. The night repeats what daylight hides, the silence names my fear. I walk through rooms of memory and find you standing near. Evening, I lift the weight I bear. Morning, I breathe your mercy into it. I whisper what still hurts and trust you hear me. Then my cry may tremble as it rises, but it does not fall alone. You gather every broken sound and call it prayer, not stone. A cry unheard becomes a burden. A burden carried becomes a shadow. But you hear before the sound is formed. It was not distance that undid me, nor open hate I saw. It was the closeness of betrayal, a familiar, gentle flaw. We shared the table, shared the road, shared faith with common breath. And what was broken was not flesh, it was the shape of trust itself. The deepest wound is knowing who held the knife. I could have endured a stranger's blow, time would soften pain, but love turned sharp, leaves scars that call out names. Oh, that I had wings like a dove, not to vanish but to rest. Not escape from memory, but shelter in your chest. Running eases the feet, not the soul. I know, but I do not feel it yet. I believe, but my faith is bent. The promise stands, though I still ask, how does this become redemption?
But as for me, I call upon Yahweh, not my strength, not my understanding, not the defense. Yahweh, the God who hears in wilderness, the God who stays.
Bitterness, I choose mercy over blame. I place my anger at your feet and speak your holy name. I cast my burden upon Yahweh, and He sustains my soul. The shadow may be near me still, but it no longer holds control. The scar remains, the memory lingers, but it is no longer my master. This wound is not my title. This pain is not my song. It is a chapter, not the ending. It is a season, not lifelong. Grace has found the broken places. Mercy walks me home. What once ruled my inner world now bows before your throne.
I am turning back to Yahweh, the quiet where you speak, not in thunder but in whispers, strong enough for the weak.
I bring no perfect language, only truth, only breath, only a heart still learning how to rest.
I tell you all my worries, I name the hidden pain, what I fear to say to anyone I trust you with again.
And here within your nearness, my striving finally ceases. This silence is not absence, it is peace.
I belong here, I am safe here. Only
Haros. There are nights my soul won't settle, when silence feels too loud. I lie awake with all my questions, tracing shadow drums. I've sung the songs of victory, I've danced before the throne, but even kings were lifted and still ache when left alone.
you see me when I'm hitting you, what I can't say. The tears I never prayed out loud still fall into your hand. This is the heart shadow where faith and fear collide. I trust you.
I remember fields and lions roar, the weight of oil on skin, a promise whispered long ago before the war within. I faced the giant fearless then, with songs upon my tongue. But crowns grow heavy on the head when battles aren't yet won.
I asked how long I'll keep reminding. Will you forget my face? I searched the heavens for your voice, but found only waiting space. My enemies are not just men, they rise inside my chest. Doubt speaks louder than the crowd, and sleep refuses rest.
Still you are near the broken heart, you don't despise the dust. You listen when my strength runs dry, when all I have is trust.
This is the heart shadow, where prayers are torn and true. Not polished words of certainty, just hope still reaching you. I lift my soul though trembling, I sing though unsure why. For you are faithful in the dark when answers pass me by.
Morning comes, the world resumes, responsibilities call, bills to pay, words left unsaid, the quiet weight of it all. Smiles worn like armor, faith held thin like thread. I bless the food, I rush the prayer, still tired in my head.
Traffic lights and crowded rooms, phones that never sleep, promises I meant to keep but buried far too deep. I try to lead with steady hands, to love, to not withdraw, but patience cracks and kindness fades under unseen wars.
You know the strain of coming days, the sacred mixed with stress. You walked our roads with dusty feet, you wore our weariness. You were acquainted with our grief, you learned obedience through pain. So when my heart feels overwhelmed, I know I'm not alone in this terrain. This is the heart shadow, but you don't turn away. You stay with me through unanswered prayers, through every fragile day. You teach my soul to wait again, to hope without control, to trust the unseen shaping work you're doing in my soul. Strength surrounds my steps, a presence close and kind, not loud with force but firm and sure, a peace that steadies mine. Like ancient songs carried by wind, passed down yet always new, a covenant not written first in stone but breathed as true.
You set my feet upon the path, you guard my coming in. Your faithfulness outlasts the night, outruns my failing skin. I may not feel you near at times, but feeling isn't law. Your word remains, your promise stands more sure
steady faith.
I will lie down unafraid. Be still. Be held. Be here.
My heart is restless, yet I remain. My soul is weary, yet I wait. Promises feel heavier in the dark, when the road stretches longer than the word. Oil on my head, dust on my feet, calling in my chest, caves in my nights. Chosen before I was ready, held when I was unseen. I learned the night teaches listening, and roots grow deeper when the wind insists. So I lift my eyes beyond the noise, beyond the watching hills of fear. Now in smaller wilderness days, crowded hours, quiet fears, faith tested in ordinary moments, when courage looks like staying near. The same heart that trembled then still beats here, still hopes now. The same refuge still stands open, the same covering still comes down. Sometimes the cave is just a deep breath before I choose not to run.
I wait, my soul waits, more than morning waits for light. Why so heavy, oh my soul? Hope again, remember again. He is my rock. I will not be shaken.
Silence. Heartbeat like piano pulse.
In the shadow of the Almighty.
doesn't mean the light is gone. It means I stood in the right place.